and welcome to my March studio vlog. In today's video, you're going to see me making a paper maquette for my patrons, as well as illustrating my annual portrait for both myself and my cat Walter. I've also included a few clips from a market that I did at the end of March. I hope you enjoy, and I will talk to you at the end of the video. It is March 7th, I believe, and I just finished working on my paper maquette for my patrons. I wanted to share with you a little bit into how I made this paper maquette because I think it turned out really, really cool. I went into making this mostly blind. I had made a paper maquette last January, but it was a lot less complicated than this one. I made this for my patrons for the March digital download, and they're going to be able to download the PDF of my artwork and be able to make paper maquettes for themselves. I started this out by making some sketches, just loosely on what kind of ideas I wanted to explore. I knew for sure I wanted to make a hare or a rabbit, and I played a bit with what faces I wanted, and I finalized what I wanted it to look like when it was all pieced together, and then I jumped right into the sketch on the final paper. So the thing with maquettes is that you have to make all the pieces separately so that you can jigsaw them together when it's done, which is really hard to make it proportionally correct if you're not drawing them all together. So I used my best friend tracing paper, and that helped me make everything the perfect size. I first sketched out the body and put my tracing paper over top, and I drew where I wanted the limbs to be when they were all placed together, making sure that they were all sized exactly how I wanted them to be. Once I had this, which I don't think you're able to see very well, I then put this on my light box and put the paper over top and was able to trace out the limbs exactly the size that I needed them to be, as well as where I wanted them on the page. I used entirely gouache for this piece, except for the lettering, which is done with a fine liner, and I haven't worked with color in a very, very long time. I had a bit of a falling out with color about 2 years ago, where I just didn't enjoy working with it. It was frustrating me every time I picked up a paintbrush, and so I just hid all my paints in my closet and stuck exclusively to ink. But I felt like this maquette needed to be in color and not just ink, so I dusted off my old paint sets, and I did this piece in gouache, which I really enjoyed doing. It felt actually very therapeutic to work with color again after so long not working with color, especially since this piece wasn't for a client, it was exclusively for me, and so I could do whatever I wanted with no pressure. It took me about 2 full work days getting the sketch together, mathing out the sizes of everything, painting it, and then turning it into a maquette. But I just turned on a really good podcast and worked 2 solid days on it, and honestly I had a lot of fun. I'm really proud of how she worked out. All of her little limbs move individually, even her ears. It's really fun to play with, like I feel like I'm a child again. After I'm done filming content of her for all my socials and for my patrons, I think I'm going to hang her up on my wall to watch over me while I work. Received a very exciting commission. I picked this up today. I have long been wanting a banner for both my studio space and also my market space. And I came across the Instagram page of a local tattoo artist who happens to also make really cool banners. And I got them to make one for me. I basically gave them like free range of whatever they wanted to do, just based on some color samples that I had and some artwork of my own. And I've already seen pictures of it, and I'm very, very pleased, but this is the first time that I'm actually seeing it in real life. First of all, it is packaged very beautifully, including a really cool sticker that the artist made themselves that I'm going to try and peel off and preserve for myself. Okay, sticker is off. It's not going to stick on anything anytime soon, but I'm sure I can fix that. All right, let's get into this. So I basically sent them over some inspiration pics of medieval banners, like actual medieval banners. And then I also sent a color scheme of black, cream, and plum. And I genuinely don't know how big this is in real life. So let's see. I'm literally freaking out. This is so much cooler in real life. Oh, it is so cool. I got a cute little postcard. Michael's Peculiar Spirits, and it's a picture of all the dolls that they've made. Cute. I'm honestly like crying a little bit. I think this is the best way to show this to you. It is backwards for you because I'm using my front-facing camera, but I will put pictures up here for you to see it the right way. Man, that is so cool. Look at this. So they did a really cool thing with the ribbons here at the top. The artist said that they tried to mimic the ribbon pattern from my original Thinking of You piece, and it creates this really like droopy effect with the ribbons, which I'm a huge fan of. And then I was told that these beads at the bottom here are actual vintage Victorian crochet beads. Oh, I'm so happy. So my plan is to hang this on the wall opposite my camera, so I'm not sure when I'm gonna have a chance to put it up, but you will see when it goes up. And I'm also planning on taking this with me when I go to markets. I want to hang this on my tent so people know what they're stepping into when they get into my tent, and I also want to hang this at the front of my coat rack where my tote bags sell for my indoor markets. It is March 26th today. It is also a week until my birthday, which means that I only have 1 week remaining to illustrate my annual self-portrait. This is a tradition that I started 4 years ago, and it's been a really cool way of seeing how both myself and my art has changed as the years have gone by. This one was 4 years ago, which is also the first one that I had ever done. And then this one was 3 years ago, and then last year's, and now I'm working on this year's, the 4th one. I also illustrate a portrait for my cat because he shares a birth month with me, and I try and make both of our portraits match in some way. His first portrait, his second portrait, and last year's portrait. I started planning for this year's portrait series last week. I just did some messy little thumbnails in my sketchbook, and I also did some illustrations on tracing paper, which is how I process my sketching. I always move from thumbnail sketches to tracing paper and then to final paper. I feel like it allows me to be more free when I'm drawing on tracing paper as opposed to drawing on the good paper because I feel like I can't mess up or I don't want to ruin the good paper. So yeah, I did mine on tracing paper, and I did a really messy version of Walter's portrait as well. Only half of it actually, because it's a mirrored illustration and I was just going to trace one half onto the other side in the final paper. Yesterday I managed to trace both of them on the good paper, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. But now I'm starting to feel the timeline closing in on me, and I'm going to ink both of these today, fingers crossed. I'm going to start with mine, I think, because that one holds the most pressure for me, and then I will do Walter's after. it's me again. I hope you enjoyed watching what I got up to this past month in March. Got a few little things to mention before I let you go. First of all, the paper maquette that you saw in the beginning of this video is still available if you sign up for my field notes and above tiers on Patreon, and it will be available infinitely into the future. If you sign up, you also get nearly 2 years worth of previous digital downloads for the price of 1 month. Also for my patrons, I made an updated template for my calendar that I made back in January. So now the months of April and May are available to download. As I'm recording this right now, it is April 7th, and I'm working on my digital download for the month of April, which is going to be a day in my art studio vlog. So if you're not sick of me yet and you want more content, you can find that over on my Patreon in the coming weeks. I truly could not do any of this without the support of my patrons, so thank you all so much. It is absolutely chucking down rain right now. I don't know if you can hear it. Thank you so much for tuning in to another one of my monthly studio vlogs, and I will talk at you again next month.